Hi everybody, and welcome back to my painting channel. Today I'm going to be doing a watercolor sky for you. I've done one very recently, so this is going to be following hot on the heels of it. In fact, I've actually done quite a few. They are very good exercise, and this is only a short video just to demonstrate how I look at maybe doing a different sky. And the nice thing about this is it's real time, so you can quite happily stop, start, pause, run back, run forward, and you can follow this. What I would suggest you do is to get all your stuff out, ready to paint, if you wish to do that of course, and watch the video through first. That's important. Get the gist of it, get the whole picture as it were, excuse the pun, but then when you're ready to, just go back through, pause it where you want to, allow it to dry, allow it to catch up, because those parts of my video are not there, and of course there is drying time between little sections. So do that, have a go, and by all means email me the results. I'd love to see them. It's always fun to see and interact with people. So do them, send them to me, and I'll put a comment to that and send it back to you. And if I can be constructive, I will do. The whole thing about teaching or showing, demonstrating painting skills is so that others can learn. And so that's what I'm really about, is to share my skills with you and help you take something from each of my videos moving forward. So on the knowledge of that, if you have enjoyed this video, maybe you'd be so kind as to put or click that thumbs up icon underneath and add a comment or two. Very welcome, especially if you are following along with this video. Put a comment in there. Let me know you're doing one. Let me know that you're having a go yourself, and that you're going to sort of upload or send me or email me the result. That'd be great, and I'll look out for it. But in the meantime, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Allow me to grow that audience. If that would be great. In the meantime, happy painting. Let's see the results from this one, and I'll catch each and every one of you in the next video. And on that score, I'm hoping that I want to put a video out each and every Thursday. I've managed it so far, and it's a little bit of hard work and juggling with all the other things I've got to do. But trying to get one out each and every Thursday will be fantastic, so that you can come on board. You'll get the notification if you're a subscriber, and it will tell you each and every time there's one there, and you can enjoy it. So yeah, happy painting everybody. I'll catch you all very soon. Enjoy. Bye bye for now. Bye bye.
Okay everyone, let's get right into it. Now I'm going to keep the horizon extremely low. I did this in the last demonstration on skies, and I'm going to do it in this one too. The reason is that I want the drama in the sky. The sky is the star of the show. So to that end, the ground could be anywhere in the world. It just happens to be my area of the neck of the woods, which is the Romney Marshes in Kent. And I'm born and bred there, and I love this area. But you could be anywhere in the world and paint a sky. The ground that you paint is very simple. It's just a way of attaching the sky to the earth and giving the whole place some perspective and scale. So okay, we're going to go straight in with some cobalt blue. As I've said before, when you are mixing any colors, try if you can to mix efficient. And if you want the color to be really strong, less water, more pigment. And opposite, if you wanted it very I don't know, lost or ephemeral, or very pale, and put more water to it. Now I've added some phthalo blue, but we are going to go in with the cobalt first, and I'm going to be quite liberal with it at the top. And there's a lot of water in there, as you can see, but it's just freedom. It's just having some fun with the brush and allowing that blue to cascade down whilst maintaining the bead. I've said to you before that you must keep that bead active. You can see the thickness or the water line on that paint as it's coming down the page or coming down the paper. There are a few areas of blue that are missing and leaving the white paper. That's not a problem. A little bit of phthalocyanine blue going in just to change the value of the blue as it comes down. And I think what I will be doing is warming up the sky, and I'm going to add some cadmium red into that. just to give it that warm glow, but I don't want it very strong, so it's got a lot of water into it, and that will then come on down towards the hills, and a lot more water. As you can see, it's just flushing out the color and allowing that color to come almost to white paper as it gets further down the page. A little bit more blue coming in, and just to return the color almost back to blues as it comes down and hits the top of the hills. And really and truly, that's not it, but it is certainly it for the first stage. I'm going to let it dry in a minute, and then, well, not totally dry, but make it quite damp, and allow that so I can put on a second coating. What I've just done is picked up my big squirrel mop, or not my biggest one, but one of the larger ones, and putting some clear water in and lifting some of that violet or that reddy color out, and some of the blue too. The nice thing is that if you control how much water you put in and don't just go overboard, you won't get some of those nasty cauliflower type things that can appear as staining on the watercolor. They're inevitable, and purists will say that they're just not good, and I suppose they're not, but at the same time, you know, if it really doesn't spoil the painting, or you can work over it, then let them be. They sometimes add something to a painting. Now I'm going over with a lot more cerulean, not cerulean, I keep saying cerulean, it's phthalocyanine blue. They're very, very similar values or colors. But this is phthalo blue, and it's going over with a much stronger content of blue sky, reinforcing the sky at the top of the picture more than anything else. But I'm going to start lifting out again with some damp brush, bit of clear water, and just take off one or two places where there's need to maybe take a little bit of pressure off the blue and suggest those wispy fine clouds that run in streaks across the sky. And to that end, I'm sort of allowing some of the blue to thicken up in places. It just reinforces that. Now I'm bringing on down the blue into what I think I've decided actually, that violet color needs to be more of a cloud. So what I'm going to do is suggest more of these blue forms and these clouds that are wispy. And just for your information, you know, when you are painting or lifting out that blue, it's also good to do that if you wanted to put in vapor trails. It's a really neat idea just to lift out the paint with some dampness in the brush. Quite a stiff brush. I mean, a stiffer brush is even better than the round I've just used, because it will take out the pigment. But you can create all sorts of lighter marks within darker marks, not necessarily just skies, but I happen to be doing it on this one. So you could create vapor trails, you can do all sorts of things like that, or lift out just simply to suggest the clouds that we're putting in. So now I'm using some pure water with the dampness of the brush and just softening the edges of that blue against what will be now a cloud, I think. I did have a different idea with it. I was going to make it the sort of subtle changes in the blue down to the horizon, but I decided to put the blue quite directly against it and make it a cloud. And to reinforce that theory, I'm now going back in with some cobalt and just sort of putting that down towards the hills, softening it off, and that reinforces the idea that we've got a cloud running through there, and it's no longer just the descending color blue coming down. Now I'm just softening and teasing off this edge. It's left me a little bit of a hard edge on that right hand side, and I'm not totally happy with it, so I'm just softening that off. And now I'm going to introduce an awful lot more cobalt and phthalo blue and try and take that out altogether. I don't think I'm going to get totally away with it. I'm sure it's going to come back and haunt me with a little mark in there, but try and minimize the effect of that and just soften it off and drag some of the paint through and lift out some sections like this. We're just going to take out one or two marks here to further suggest wispy clouds as they streak across and lift out from the cloud at the base there. But I think that's a more believable cloud now at the bottom. And we're almost there. We're almost there with the sky. There's not a lot to do. Just teasing out a little bit more here and a little bit there and lifting off that bead so it doesn't end up causing me a problem on the bottom of the hill. Okay, so we're now going to let that dry, and I'm going to now start thinking about the colors for the ground. And for that, I'm going to go in for some indigo, quite a bit of it, make it quite a strong mix, and a little bit of the two yellows, which is Indian and Aureolin, just a touch, and let that run through all that back hill structure. Okay, now the color of the blue repair to the right hand side, you can see it's not totally as dry as the rest of it, so it has bled in and it has changed the look of that hill. Not a problem, because it's just a loose washes that suggests the ground, but they do anchor the sky to the earth, as it were, which is really all we're trying to do. So it's a very, very simple field structure. I'm using lots of indigo and I'm not sure which way to go, but I'm going to put some orange in there, and that just gives me what looks to be like a field, plowed field, that muddy look that you get to certain field structures. And it doesn't take a lot more. Some reds, the vermilion color streaking up through the field. It's a little bit strong, so I'm going to actually temper that now with some blue and let that mix into that orange and indigo that I first put in there. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to create such a finished or polished painting. I'm merely suggesting now some ground so that you can appreciate the values in the sky against that of the ground. Just tidying one or two places up before we let this dry, and once it's dry, then we can start thinking about putting in some darker values, which will be the trees. Now I'm going to mix up, when I do that, I'm going to mix several colors up, and that one is just a little too strong. So instead of wiping it out or trying to put tons of paint into it, just move to a clean area and remix the color and have another go. And if you do like that one, that's fantastic. If again you're not happy with it, then go into the next pile and try again. It's mixing, I mean, there are some people that advocate mixing on the paper, and I do where I can. Often I forget to do that and I mix in the palette, and I think that's possibly because I do a lot of that as an oil painter. But mixing on the palette or mixing on the paper, it does mean to say that you do take your time to get the mixes right. There's no point in just putting colors on if you don't have any idea if it's anywhere near the color you're looking for. Many people quite happily use a test piece of paper. I think it's a cracking idea. I think that if you've got an odd piece of paper, watercolor paper, especially if, like me, you do one, it doesn't work out, instead of ripping it up, leave it, turn it over and save it. And if you are doing a watercolor painting, there's nothing stopping you having a little strip of that right next to the work you're working on and playing around with the colors. And if you're not sure, just tap a little strip onto that, and you can even hold that down very close to your painting. Just give yourself an idea of, does this one work? Is it warm? Is it cool? Is it too dark? Is it too light? And if it is, just adjust your mixes. And I think it's a really sound piece of advice just to go off and save those bits of paper and test every pigment, if you're not sure, that is, against before you commit yourself. Because with watercolor, once you're committed and you're done, it's very hard to get out of it. Now what I've purposely done here is I put a bit more blue to the same mix to give me a line of trees or what would be a bit of wood further along the escarpment of the marsh and the hills. Put a little bit more detail into this big tree which is nice because it's on the thirds. Purposely put there because it's the dominant tree, dominant feature in the foreground. It's the closest thing to us, and it just works and sets the whole scene, gives the whole thing a bit of scale. Using the edge of the damp brush just to break out some of the greens and soften those into the field and let them sort of bleed and move a little bit. And then this field that's got a break in it, and we're just going to add a little bit of suggestive grass and shrubs, bushes, weeds, reeds, whatever. The thing about the Romney Marsh is that it was a lot of ditches were dug by the monks many years ago to help drain the marshes from the sea and reclaim the land. So the fields are not always just fenced fields or hedgerows. They are actually accompanied with a ditch that runs the same line as the trees and shrubs that you're seeing me painting. So you could walk along there and just suddenly meet the edge of the field, but actually it's a ditch too. I just put that strong warm color in, and I'm just going to soften that off now, and I think we're pretty much there. I don't think it needs any more. It's just going to overwork it and take everything away from the sky. The sky carries the picture, and I think that's all this picture really needs, is that it doesn't need too much more work. So let's call it a day. Let's take the tape off. Let's have a look and see. Now, I always like to do this with my paintings. I do like to have the borders put in, so I always tape up 1 inch around my paper, and that's why you saw me pressing it down at the beginning, just to make sure that the paint really didn't bleed underneath. Sometimes it does, something you can't do or stop. But there you go. I hope you've enjoyed it, and please, if you have, get your paints out, get your paper out, get your brushes out, and join me. Have a go. You can make this painting, stop it, start it, pause it, run backwards, run forwards, but have a go. Now you've watched it, now you know what it's about. Have a go yourself and enjoy it. So all the best for now, and I'll catch you all in the very next video coming up, I hope next Thursday. Catch you all soon. Bye bye. Hi everyone, hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to press that like button and also add any comments. But above all, please subscribe to the channel, and for your information, there's another video there and another video there. Catch you all next time. Bye bye for now. Bye bye.